All right, everybody, welcome back to another Snapper Chat podcast. My name is Will Ellermets. Today we've got a very special guest, guys, Mr. Jeremy Key. He's out there in Spokane, Washington. He just got a golden door in the roofing industry. So, Jeremy, we're excited to have you on today, hear a little about your story. I think it was probably like 3-4 days ago that we were at Door to Door Con.
Yep, just a few days ago.
Yeah, I see it in the background there, dude. Go
Yep.
grab it for the people real quick, bro. Let them see an upfront shot of it, man. That's awesome. Was that the spot that you wanted to put it at too? Right there? You already had it?
I actually have it hung up right here above me, but I figured you'd probably ask about it since it was just a few days ago. So, yeah,
That's
new
it.
hardware just got home with.
Congrats, bro. Congrats. So
Thank you.
that's got to be a good feeling, right?
Oh man, wonderful feeling. It was a really cool opportunity, really cool event that Sam puts on, and so man, it was awesome.
It's like not even like top 1%. That's like top 0.1% of everybody in the door-to-door industry, right? That goes out there. And
man,
there's a lot of people that get the award, right? But not in comparison to how many people are out here knocking doors in a dozen different industries across the country. So kudos to you, bro. Congrats.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man. So I'd love to hear just how did you first get started in door-to-door? And then how did you hit the goal this last year of hitting Golden Door?
Man, yeah. So this is technically my first professional career after college. But I like to say I've kind of been knocking doors since I was about 10. I've always been a go-getter. When I was super young, my dad taught me how to clean cars and do it really well. So when I was super young, I started going around our neighborhood telling people that their cars were dirty and that they need to let me wash them. And so, you know, I kind of started young, got familiar with just talking to strangers. And then while I was in college, I learned how to do window cleaning. So during the week after classes, I would go knock doors and set appointments to go back and clean the windows on the weekend. So first like professional career where I'm not doing just like a little gig on the side, but I'm familiar with it.
That's awesome, man. I think to hear that you were like cleaning cars, window cleaning, I think most people, at least for me, like we would just kind of sell the chocolate bars going door to door for like football, basketball, whatever it was. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to hear kind of like, how did you then hear about roofing and what was it about roofing that made you interested in picking that versus kind of like sticking with the window cleaning or possibly getting into like alarms or pest or solar or any other industry? Like what was it about roofing that kind of made you decide that's the one?
Man, I guess nothing in particular about roofing specifically. Once I had finished up school, was looking for my first like real job, was just searching on Indeed and you know, saw the company I'm with now, was like, man, that sounds like a really cool opportunity. And it was actually my only application, my only interview, and I went all in. So I wasn't even specifically looking for the roofing industry. I was just looking for sales. And it wasn't even looking door to door specific either. I was just looking up sales on Indeed and thought this would be a good opportunity. And turns out it worked. So
yeah. What did you go to school for originally?
Yeah, I went to school for business. So I just have my associate's degree, but studied business. You know, there was nothing else that was going to keep me there for another 2 years to like further progress my degree. I was just like, you know what, I've always wanted to do sales, talk to folks, kind of an entrepreneurial mindset. And so yeah, I was like, well, let's just dive right into working.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about like the struggle, right? Like I'd love to hear some stories about maybe like when you first started. You know, you've been in the industry for 2.5 years, but you didn't get a golden door until your second year.
Yep.
So for guys watching this right now, that maybe it's, you know, they're starting off brand new and they're about to go through what you've already gone through.
Yeah.
What did that look like? How did you get to the point where you start off and then the next year you're in the top 1% of the industry?
Man, yeah. Comes with a lot of hurdles knocking doors, just getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. The first thing I thought of with that question is I think it was my first week out of training, was knocking doors, was just getting doors slammed in my face left and right. Couldn't get anything done. And I remember sitting down at a park calling my fiance and just being like, man, I don't know if I'd cut out for this. I don't know if I got this in me. And we actually moved out of state for this job. And so she kind of whipped me in gear and was like, nope, you definitely got this. You're good at talking to folks, and really, we don't have a safety net. You don't got a choice. So you got to keep touching those doors and figure this out. And so she kind of whipped me into shape and got me back after it. Kind of gave me that motivation that I needed to keep going. Um, and so I would say like one of my biggest pieces of advice to folks is learning your objections, because this was my second full year. The objections haven't changed since the first month. They're the same. There's no new things that homeowners are throwing at me. And so learning those objections, making sure that you have your talking points so that, as soon as someone starts saying any type of objection, you already know what you're going to say and you're on top of it like that.
Coming from a Golden Door Award winner, what would you say are like the top three ways to become a master at overcoming objections?
Yeah. So understanding, learning your top 5 to 10 objections, kind of write those objections down and just know what those top objections are. The number one thing that helped me with overcoming objections was anytime that I had a conversation with a homeowner and it didn't result in me inspecting their roof and them signing up, I would get back in my truck. I would kind of dissect that conversation I just had and go, all right, where did I lose them? Where did it start going south? Where did they lose their confidence? And then I would role play it in the truck by myself. The next door I'm going to, I'm driving. I probably look crazy if you're driving next to me because I'm just sitting there talking to myself, but I'm role playing, what just happened, how I'm going to overcome it in the future.
Love it. Who would you say was the person that inspired you it was possible to go out and get a Golden Door?
Yeah.
And when was that? Was that when you first got started 2.5 years ago, or was that like January 1, 2024? Because now it's like
Yeah.
January 2025, right? So
Yeah.
you got it in 2024. So when was it? Who was that person, and what did that uh, conversation or what did that event look
hmm
like that inspired you to go out there and make that decision to get a
Man,
Golden Door?
yeah. So it was middle of February last year, is when I actually even learned about the Golden Door Award. I didn't know about it my first year. I wish I did because I might have pushed to be able to accomplish it. But it was, yeah, February of last year. We were on our top performers trip for our company. Um, and so was talking to the owner's daughter, and she was the one who told me about the Golden Door Award. And I was like, man, that sounds really cool. And she was like, yeah, no one in the company's ever done it, and I really think you can do it. And so after that conversation, went back to the hotel room, and I was laying in bed and I was doing all my research on the Golden Door Award, found the website and everything. And it was right then I looked over at my fiance and I was like, I'm doing this. I'm gonna figure out how to become a Golden Door Award winner.
So what did that look like then? You said you had to figure out what it took to get a Golden Door.
Mm-hmm.
In roofing, it's $2.5 million in revenue, right?
Yep.
And that's about what? Is that about 100 roofs ish, give or
Yeah, I
take?
think I did 123
Okay.
installed roofs, so yeah, just over 100. And I mean, at first it was daunting because the my first year I did 2 million, and I felt like I was swamped. So I was like, man, how does one accomplish that? Um, and so just kind of doubling down on everything I did the year prior. Um, is what led to me being able to find success and just add in that little more that I needed.
Doubling down in what ways would you say?
Yeah. So I would say being disciplined is like the biggest thing. And I know a lot of people talked about it at Door to Door Con. You hear it a lot in sales. But yeah, being disciplined is like the most important thing. And I think across everything that you do in life, I'm really into fitness. And so, being disciplined with that, being disciplined with work, being disciplined with things outside of work. And then what follows is being consistent. And so once you've found those disciplines and then being consistent with them.
What was there a moment where you maybe from February till like December at the end of 2024 where you like maybe doubted yourself?
Yeah, I would say, when was it? It was around like October-ish. I had another 500,000 to go. And I didn't know if it was going to be done because winter, I never know when winter's coming around here. And so I was like, shoot, I started to really doubt myself. But I sat down with my manager and the regional manager, and we just kind of had a conversation. And I felt a lot of support from them of like, all right, what do we need to do to be able to accomplish it?
What did he tell you?
Yeah, so for roofing, it's not just your revenue; it's installed revenue.
Hmm.
Um, and so, it's I think a little more of a group effort of making sure that our production teams getting those roofs installed. And so I went through my log of jobs that are waiting to be installed. I kind of handpicked some of the bigger jobs, and we sat down with our production department, and they were awesome, badass, and just were like, all right, we're doing these five this week, these five this week, and then making sure that I was on top of it, make sure the crew had everything that they need, that the installs went smoothly.
What would you say are besides like being like disciplined and working hard and like knocking a lot of doors, like if you could credit your success to anything as hitting Golden Door, was it like in your sales approach? Was it
Mm-hmm.
in like being like detail oriented? If you could pick like two or three qualities
Yeah,
that you think every single person watching this needs to embody in order to go out and hit a Golden Door, what would you say are those qualities?
yeah. Consistency is always my big one, but I do think that should be obvious if you're trying to be a top performer in the door to door industry. Organization, I think, is really important, and what really differed my first year and this year was nailing down my processes and being organized. Because I mean, I'm not just the one knocking the door, inspecting and closing. I do a lot of insurance work, so I'm the one talking to the insurance adjusters, kind of working with them to make sure that we have everything we need to replace the roof in its entirety. I'm the one going back to the homeowner, picking out materials, shingle colors. I'm the one that's putting out all the fires when someone calls and it's not going according to plan. And so, I have like one of my biggest things, I have a notebook. This guy follows me everywhere. Everyone in the office calls it my Bible. Because, at the beginning of each week on Monday, I go through every single job that I have in my pipeline and I write down what the next step is to keep that job moving forward. And so this has been a huge tool and help to my success in staying organized.
I think that organization is something that is easier said than done. Like, have
Mm-hmm.
you always been an organized person, or was that something that you had to learn? Did you have somebody coach you through how to be organized, like with the systems and processes? Were you kind of creating your own, or were you adopting them from your company?
I was creating my own. I've always been an organized person, and I'm a very systematic based person. And so, when I got into doing this, I had to, my first job, of course, showing how to go through the process. And I'm one that's a hands-on learner. So once I did it once, I was like, cool. All I need to do is duplicate that. Um, and so, yeah, I would say, as much as like the notebook, and a few other approaches were things that I kind of brought to that wasn't like learned from someone else. So I was like, what, I think this could benefit how I do things.
Hmm. What would you say has like been your best day this last year as you've been on this journey? Was it like making your first 100 grand? Was it like the day that you realized that you hit Golden Door? Or was
Yeah,
there a certain date that you can look at and be like, that was like the best day of
man.
2024?
Um, Shoot, probably the best day was the day that the last roof was being installed. That I knew was the point where I was receiving the golden door. And I got a call from our production manager, and he said, "Hey, man, it's all wrapped up. You accomplished it. You're good to go." And I was in the car with my fiance, and we celebrated. We went out to dinner after that, and so that was awesome. That was amazing.
It's a good feeling, dude. It's a good
It's
feeling
good. It's a great
that
feeling.
hopefully everybody on this call watching this right now is able to feel in 2025. So I'd love to hear too, Jeremy. Like, what is the approach on the doors when you go
Yeah,
on knock the door? Can we do like a role playing session real quick? I'd love to kind of hear the approach of a golden door in
yeah,
roofing.
yeah. Of
Cool.
course.
All right,
Awesome.
let's do
Yeah.
it.
Knock on your door here.
Hello.
Hey, man, how's it going?
Good. How
Good,
can I help
good.
you?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry to bother you. I was just down the street at your neighbor's. I don't know if you know John. He's a few doors down. Was helping him out with some damage to his roof, and I noticed you got some similar damage to your roof. I wanted to stop by and see the last time that someone took a look at this for you.
Yeah, I never had anybody look at the roof. We moved in 10 years ago and it was like 3 years old at that point.
Ah, gotcha, gotcha. Have you noticed the missing shingles up on the left side right here? You have a little patch missing.
No?
Oh shoot, man! Come on, let's take a look at it really quick.
Okay.
Kind of get them outside the door. Hey, this is what's caught my eye. What stopped me? You know,
hmm
you got a big patch of missing shingles right here, and I'd love to hop up there, take a look at your roof, and see if I can help you out.
Sure. Yeah. You want to do it right now?
Yeah, I got my ladder with me. Do you have a preferred spot that I can put my ladder up at?
Yeah, you just do it on the front there. Can I go up there with you? Is that okay?
Of course, it's your place. Come along. Just don't fall off my ladder.
All right. So then we go up on the roof, then you maybe like are drawn on the roof, or what's your process
Mm-hmm.
once you get up there?
Yeah, yeah. So I inspect the roof. I take photos of all the damages. If there's damages like that, most of the time it's due to a windstorm. It's due to something that would fall underneath the homeowner's insurance policy. So document all the damages. Most of the time, the homeowner doesn't come up with me, but there has been quite a few that do. And so if they don't come up, I come down, I show them all the photos. I'm like, hey, this is what I'm seeing, man. And I think I can get your insurance company to cover the cost to have this roof replaced, because I know you're not up there tearing shingles off your roof. This is something that's caused by nature. So it should fall underneath your insurance policy.
Okay. So what are the next steps?
Yeah, next steps then is I sit down with them. We give the insurance company a call so that any questions that they have about the damages I can answer, and then we go over what's called a contingency agreement. Basically, just says, hey, I'm allowed to talk to your insurance company on behalf of you and the roof. And two, if I do get them to cover the cost to have your roof replaced, I'm just asking them, I'm the contractor that puts your new roof on. If I fall short, I don't get them to cover the cost. It also says they don't owe me a thing. I tried my hardest. We'll shake hands. We're right back to where we are now. I can give them a cash bid if they're still interested.
And then all you need is just their insurance
Mm-hmm.
policy.
Yep.
And at that point, you can see if they qualify for it. And then from there, it's like if they get approved, like are they more often than not doing it?
I would say 50-50.
Okay. Why
Yeah.
50-50?
You know, I think a lot of us know, insurance wants to pay as little as possible. So
hmm
a lot of times they're like, "Hey, let's just repair it." There's 10 missing shingles. Let's just repair
hmm
those. And I'm never going to suggest a homeowner to go through the process if I don't think I can get the roof fully paid for. There's a few things that I could talk on. One, as roofs get older, they get brittle. They get really hard to repair without causing further damage to the surrounding shingles. So if we're just going to be causing more damage than good, then we should look at replacing the roof. There's also a lot of shingles that are discontinued. I can't even find the material to do the repairs. And so that's leads to a lot of success as well.
Yeah, fascinating, dude.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy how that script right there was able to generate you just incredible income. I know at the very beginning of the podcast you kind of mentioned how you didn't like necessarily have a safety net, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like now you probably do,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Like
Got it.
you probably do now,
Yep.
which is an incredible feeling. So last couple questions for you before we wrap up, Jeremy, is like, we talk about mental health a lot.
Yeah.
I have a nonprofit. It's called Battle of the Gains, and the whole point of it is to help people overcome battles with like, depression, anxiety, things like that, and then to
Yeah.
make gains in your life, not just physically, not just financially, but like spiritually with your relationships, like mentally,
Hmm.
emotionally, right? So for you, what do you do to remain in a state of like mental well-being when you're going
Yeah.
out there and just pushing, grinding? A lot of people, they'll go out there, they'll make more money than they've ever made, but
Hmm.
they'll lose in the other categories, right?
Right.
So what do you do to kind of maintain like being a well-rounded person in all the categories of life, so that you're not just
Hmm.
making money, but you're also still physically healthy, which I know you mentioned at the beginning of the podcast is something that's important to you.
Yeah.
Um, your fiance and wife, right?
Hmm.
Spirituality, your mental health, reading, learning, emotions.
Hmm.
What tips or nuggets do you have for people as they're going out there on this journey? Because it can be a tough journey, right?
Yeah, no, it definitely can. I would say that's actually my biggest goal for this year is making sure that I have a better work-life balance. So it's funny you bring this up. One of the top things that I'm changing this year to accomplish that is, I usually don't work weekends, but a lot of the times, my jobs and stuff would be taking up my thought process on the weekends, not even that I was necessarily working. Um, and so one of the things I'm going to do is when I get home from work, usually I wear a hat with our company on it and everything. I'm going to leave that on the dashboard of my truck, kind of separating myself from work me and personal life me, and just going like, all right, work's done for the week or work's done for the evening. I'm going to hang this up and I'm getting back to it, tomorrow morning or Monday morning. I'm kind of separating myself. And then, yeah, like you already talked on, physical fitness is a big part of my life, and so continuing to work out, and that's therapeutic in a way. Kind of taking time to work on myself during those 30 minutes every day.
Love it. Yeah, I think that's a huge thing, like symbolically, to put your hat on
Mm-hmm.
the dashboard, and it's like, people at work are thinking about home, and people at home are thinking about work, but it's like when you come home at the end of the day, like you don't want to bring leftovers home to your family, right? Like you want to be
Right.
able to be fully present. So I think that's a huge nugget there. So I appreciate you sharing that, and I want to
Yeah.
encourage you just to stay true to that, this next year,
Yeah.
and to keep doing that, and make sure that you follow that, because I think a lot of people, they'll set the goal, but then they don't make it happen. But I don't think that's you, because it sounds like you're somebody that actually does what you say you're going to do,
Yeah.
which is something that no matter what, like if you say you're going to do something, you go out and do it, like. And that's what I love about this door-to-door industry. It's like the reason I love it is because, first of all, it's a personal development program with a
Mm-hmm.
compensation plan attached to it, but also like you build the muscle
Mm-hmm.
that like you can do tough things. Like
Right.
knocking doors is tough. Like being organized is tough. Like when you get a cancel, it's like it's tough, right? When you set a
Right.
big goal like that, it's tough. But it's like like you're young 20s, right? It's like
Yep.
you're gonna literally be able to, for the rest of your life, be able to accomplish whatever you want.
Right.
So with that being said, I think that's my last question: is what 1% changes are you trying to make it for 2025? How are you going to be better for this next year? And do
Yeah.
you think you'll be able to get another golden door in 2025?
I do think I would be able to accomplish another golden door, but my work related goal for this year is going to make it a little more difficult, and that is, I'm striving to work more commercial jobs, and the Golden Door Award is only residential. So of course I'm going to continue to do both, but focusing a little time on pursuing commercial jobs will take away from that a little bit. What it will be beneficial in the end.
Love it. Is that the same kind of thing, or are you like dialing for dollars when you're doing commercial, like looking at people's roofs? Are you like walking into grocery stores,
Yeah, walking in.
malls? Yeah.
Yep, walking in grocery stores, malls, and so yeah, it's going to be a little different. A little more wine and dine, and helping folks that way, because it's not going to be through insurance. Those are going to be big cash jobs. So refining that approach and learning it is going to be a new mountain to climb.
Love it. That's exciting, man. I look forward to seeing how that goes this next year. And
Yeah.
again, thank you for coming on the podcast, guys. This is Jeremy Key. Only been in the industry for 2.5 years. Was able to go out there and get a Golden Door Award in Washington, right? Which is it
Yeah.
snows there. If you guys don't
Yep.
know, and so it's like no excuses, right? Like y'all think it's tough. Well, you're probably knocking in like 10-degree weather, like consistently,
Yeah.
right? So again, kudos to you, man. I look forward to seeing you and what you are able to accomplish in 2025. And I love all the different goals that you've got, all the mindset you've got. Your approach is killer. And just who you are as a person. There's no doubt. There's no like I understand why you were able to go out there and accomplish it. Like you got the X factor. You got all the things that you need to be successful. So I appreciate you for sharing your story and your wisdom for everybody. And yeah, man, we'll put your link in the description below here for your Instagram bio so people can follow you and come along on the journey with you. And guys, thank you so much for watching this podcast. And until then, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Appreciate you. Thank you.